I'm Luke. Today on Auto Darts, we are checking out the Conquest Pro. We had a chance to play with this blaster at our last small close quarters battle, and it is a very cool, very unique platform. Let's get going. Dartzone's first Pro line blaster this year was the Conquest Pro, and this blaster came out of nowhere. It's completely unique in its firing and loading mechanism, which is really neat to see. For those who haven't seen, it loads out the back, so you've got a magazine that goes in the rear, I guess. And that makes for a very compact blaster with no magazine sticking out, and for some game types this could be very, very nice. A couple weeks ago we had a close quarters battle with about 12 people, and this blaster proved to be a very solid offering. Firing from the hip, coming around corners is very natural and easy to do, and surprisingly, the feeding mechanism on this blaster works very, very well. Ultimately, whenever you're changing the dart alignment inside the blaster, there's a lot more that can go wrong, especially when you're dealing with a small directional dart. But fortunately, it's proven to be very, very reliable, and it's a really fun blaster to play with. Ergonomically, the blaster is quite comfortable. I find this grip a little funky. It almost sort of pinches my webbing of my hand here, but I can see what they were trying to do. They had to fit this whole magazine in there with a certain shell thickness, and so it's definitely forgivable. It's nothing that's uncomfortable by any means, though it does feel like it's meant for a little bit smaller hands than mine. You're probably seeing a recurring theme on the grip commentary. Maybe it's just me, you guys. Let me know in the comments. We come with iron sights up top. I don't know that I would hold it way up here to use it. I feel like for most purposes I would use this. I might be down lower, especially since it doesn't have a stock. I love the aesthetic look of this blaster. It's just different, it's unique. It doesn't look like a firearm, which is great. I kind of like these raised panel details. They look kind of like a heat sink or something, and here it says 220V. 220 volts, that makes no sense. I have no idea what that's for, but it just looks cool. Up front, I think, is probably the coolest muzzle that they've put on any of the Adventure Force blasters so far. I mean, I even think this looks better on here, and I think Perry was the one that was on board this muzzle first. He really liked this, and I agree. Because the muzzle is the same size as the Nexus Pro, it's also compatible with our SCAR barrels, so you can pop that right in the end as well. You'll lose about 5 to 10 FPS with the SCAR, but you should gain a bit of accuracy with that additional spin. The release mechanism leaves something to be desired. It is definitely not perfect. I can't hit it with my finger without taking my hand off the actual grip or taking my front hand back to remove it. So I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to unload, but I'm going to guess the cycle would look something like this. You take this hand off, you drop this one, and if you do it right, maybe you catch it. That's kind of good. And then you put your next one in. While we're talking about magazines, pretty much everything is compatible until you get to curved mags, and I'll elaborate on that in a second. So the standard Dartzone Pro mags will gravity drop. These are the 15-round mag. This one came with the Max Striker. This one came with the Nexus Pro, and of course that will fit too, but you'll have to sort of stick your finger in the rear of the blaster to get that all the way in, and then it will gravity drop. Talons, of course, do work. However, they seem to be more of almost like a detent hold. They definitely hold firm, and they fire fine, but Perry pointed out that during gameplay there can be some issues with slamfire, so let's give that a shot. Yeah, and there I felt, wait, we might just be empty. No, we're just out of darts. Talon mags do perform just fine, and they do hold in here, but you will have to put them in the right way. You'll also have to, oh, that gravity dropped that time. Sometimes they haven't been gravity dropping, so we have found that at times you might either need to give it a little bit of a shake or just pull it out. And that was actually kind of nice. Harry was commenting he played with this a bunch in our last game, and he was able to just grab and pull, and it held firmly rather than having to mess with the funky mag release. I know a couple people have done extensions on this. I think I might try get something where it's like right here in front of the trigger, or just bring it down here, but somehow it's got to be a little closer to your hand. It just feels like this finger should be doing the work, and currently you can't. Now the talons can have issues with slamfire, so let's give that a shot. I got a fully loaded 15 round. Yeah, there we go. We got one stopped loading. So I don't know if it's something where the magazine's working its way out on slamfire, but it seems like single fire is just fine. Now without a stock, you will find that this blaster is nowhere near as accurate as holding up the Nexus Pro or the Max Striker. It's just hard to prime and stay on target. I mean, you can see each time I prime, no matter how hard you try to keep it in place, you're going to have quite a bit of barrel drift there. So it's worth noting, I think it's more of a CQB. Now my buddy Ton, one of our licensees who does the extra edge adapters, which look kind of like this one. This is the one that Eli did for the Tachi mags, but he's working on an extension that's compatible with this and might turn it into a stock. So it would sit out further. And then I kind of want to go one step further and turn this into a tri-mag. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments on what you think of this idea, but essentially you'd have one mag here, one would be loaded in here, one's in the center, and it would be some sort of stock that then the whole thing you'd pull the whole thing out and move over for the next shot. I don't know, it could be a little clunky, but it's an idea I definitely want to play with. While we're talking about compatibility, sadly the Worker 18 curved mags won't fit without modification. They collide with this little joint up here. Now, some users have actually cut this section here, and you can make it compatible even with our Tachi mags. So this mag does not quite fit, but if you cut out a little notch right here, the width of the magazine, and about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch up, maybe 8 to 10 millimeters, then you can actually fit the Tachi mags. And one user online actually created a stock with some dart holding capability for the Tachi because the length was about right. So we might play with that as well, but it's sad to have to cut that up just to make it fit. So I'm not sure how many people would like to do that. Again, if that's something you'd like to see on the shop, I might reach out to that designer and see if they're interested. Let me know in the comments as always. Performance-wise, this blaster is, of course, delivering the hits just like you would expect from Dart Zone Pro. It is a little bit lighter in FPS than the Nexus Pro in my initial test, but we'll put up the real numbers on the screen. This is a blaster. When I saw the photo of it, I was like, oh, they screwed up. It's going to be bad. There's no way that works well. And I was wrong. It's really solid. I'd give this 5 out of 5 because of what it is, because it's unique. It functions well. It works well. It comes in at a really good price point of $40. And I think it makes a good addition to just about any arsenal at a really reasonable price point. And again, you can grab something competitive on shelves. Always, always exciting. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna have more mods for this in the future, definitely springs and some other parts. Until next time, I'm out of darts.